5 years ago, I was released from prison after doing 18 and a half years. Couldn't read or write.
Wow.
And imagine that. You know,
I can't even
you wrap your
imagine.
head around it, right?
This is Happy Hour with Deb, and today I have an incredible man with an incredible mission, incredible story. This is Mike White. The day I met you out at the lodge, your energy blew me away. I love interaction. I love high energy. I'm like, this is my kind of dude.
Absolutely.
And it was like an honor to walk in there. It really was. So thank you. We are thrilled to have you here.
Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. Let's get into it. How'd you start working with this, famous rock star, Coach Burt?
Well, I'm going to rewind.
Please,
tell you a little about me first and foremost.
Of course.
Extreme conditions happens to us all.
Absolutely.
And being where I'm at in this moment is a very, very unique blessing. And I give glory to God first and foremost.
Tell us all about it.
So coming from where I came from in life, I was born into struggles, born into a family of addiction, and like a lot of us, we all have extreme conditions. And I've failed my way to success. I've failed my way to this moment. Wow. I've failed my way into this opportunity. The great thing about me is I don't see life as failures. I see them as making informed decisions after you make a mistake.
That's amazing. Amen to that.
5 years ago, I was released from prison after doing 18 and a half years.
Wow.
Couldn't read or write.
Wow.
And imagine that.
I can't even
wrap
imagine.
your head around it, right?
And you were in a prison here in
Nashville, Tennessee.
In Nashville, Tennessee.
Well,
okay.
I was in Tennessee prison.
Okay.
I did most of my time at a maximum security prison called Riverbend Maximum Security Institution.
Wow.
And that's where I learned how to read and write. And while I was doing some time in maximum security, a Muslim had introduced me to a Quran.
Wow.
And said, hey, read this. And I said, man, I can't read, dude. I just want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. How do I get food? I'm starving.
Right.
Because I was communing with silence with long time, 24 hours a day. No TV, no fan, no contact with outside.
How long were you doing that for with no contact in isolation?
That was 36 months.
Wow.
36 months. And,
unbelievable.
And it was incredible. And what was incredible about it, and a lot of people say incredible, they associate that word. I don't think it would be like madness. I take every experience and I find the goodness in everything. Because while I was in the madness, I couldn't see my way through the darkness until somebody introduced me to a Quran and said, hey, this is going to help you. And I'm like, I didn't see it in the moment. So at nighttime, Ishmael, he would read to me, and I was picking up on the words he was reading. And when I got off, I took it upon myself to learn how to read and write. And this is where it really gets fascinating. All my associates, because you really have no friends in prison. Ishmael was very rare.
Yes.
And I would go through the unit, Deb, and I would go, ah, e, o, u, ah, learning the vowels.
Yeah.
I would take words and decode them and deconstruct them, and I'm like, and I was really putting this science together. And after I figured out that I could read and write, I went on to take 7 tries, take 7 shots to get my GED.
Wow. Now, how old were you at this point?
I was 28 years old.
Wow.
28.
7 times, and you now have your GED.
Got my GED.
Unbelievable. Congratulations.
Thank you.
That is turning your mess into your mission. Lemons into lemonades. I love this story. And your energy about it, you look at this as a blessing.
It is a blessing.
Came into your life as a blessing.
Rewinding time, when we're born into this void, I really think that we're born into a struggle. We're gifted an identity. We're gifted this void of beliefs, this void of values. And as time goes on, things start to shape us differently. We go in a different era. So after I graduated and get my GED, I went on to graduate Toastmasters University at the top of my class.
Congratulations.
Didn't stop there.
That's great.
I've got documentation from A.J. Levine. Look her up. She's a prominent professor at Vanderbilt University. It's got notes about my papers, notes about my thesis I wrote about Book of Jonah. Wow. And then I was also nominated to go be a part of a class called New Beginnings that was represented by the governor of the state of Tennessee in 2009, Governor Phil Bredesen, who I've got documentation from, who really paved the road, and really I think it's mentors and coaches in this journey that I was on that really paved the road and said, hey, you can do this, hey, you can do that. And that voice.
Belief. Somebody believed in you.
Absolutely.
And held the space to encourage you, which I'm sure was missing from your childhood,
Absolutely.
right? So that is just a beautiful, beautiful story. And we had talked at the lodge how before you met Ishmael that you were angry.
I was.
You were a bitter man.
And to tie in this, to piggyback off that story, one day I was walking around the prison yard and Ishmael looked at me, and he's a bigger African American, and he says, Mike, why are you always looking so angry? And I was like, this dude's checking me. I mean, where's this coming from? I was very confused, very puzzled.
You just resonated in that area, huh?
And
that was just how you lived your life. That's how you were wired.
Yeah, so I didn't think I was angry. I just thought I had 20-something years in prison and I'm not getting out. I mean, my life has been shattered, and I was a victim of my own circumstances, a victim of my own mentality.
Right.
But in that moment, I had a paradigm shift. He said this to me. He says, you see that green grass over there? There's a river on the back end. He says, I'll never touch that grass again.
Wow.
He got 2 life sentences.
Wow.
And in that moment, I realized that there was hope for me, that I had a mission. God had qualified me for a unique position in the world to help people understand, no matter where you've at, no matter what you've been through, that you can overcome anything if you just take action.
Absolutely.
So I went into action.
That's great.
I took action and started plowing through all my insecurities, all my self-limiting beliefs, all my doubts. I rid of them. I took those thoughts captive, and the next thing you know, great things is happening.
It's unbelievable when we step out of a place of fear. When we're caught in our own heads, it's just a fear response. It's a trauma response. You had a lot of trauma. And when we step out and into a new world, it's like the possibilities, and life is endless, right?
Absolutely.
You can do anything. So tell me I didn't know you're married till today. Talk to me about that. How long have you been married?
I met my wife in 2009.
Okay.
In prison.
Okay.
And she's my superstar.
You said she's your best friend and your rock. And
she talks to me. She tells me, hey, you need to slow down. You're moving too fast. So she's my superstar. We're the yin and the yang. She balances me out.
That's amazing.
And we got married in 2012. She's a nurse.
Great.
And she's been my support system the whole time.
Wow.
And I met her over language. I met her over letters. I started writing stanzas and poems, and she's got these letters that I wrote, and you look
from a man who couldn't read.
That's right.
Then you started writing poems to your now wife.
Yeah.
Now, if that's not an inspiring story, I don't know if there is one.
And
that's
my wife,
amazing.
she takes these letters sometimes out, and she reads them to me. She's like, "You sound like a book." Well, that's all I had time to do. I was reading books. I was putting sentences together and stanzas. Stanzas. I love writing poetry. I love taking the art form and just sitting in the moment and visualizing and taking my thoughts and putting them on paper.
That's unbelievable. That is so creative, and to be in a cell where you could essentially just be angry the rest of your life, And
99% of the people in my situation, they return to prison in 1 to 5 years, or they die.
The statistic is staggering about prisons. It's unbelievable. I work with trauma. I work with unresolved trauma. And we do not take it seriously enough that if your Harvard study, if you have unresolved trauma, it affects 90% of the decisions you make on a daily basis, from who you talk to what you put in your coffee. Left unresolved, you're a prisoner in your own life, and trauma is very individualized. It might be you were left at a bus stop too long. It doesn't have to be you saw a murder,
Absolutely.
And you've seen so many things as a child. So this Ishmael really, what's going on with Ishmael? Do you know?
Ishmael's still in prison. He's still doing his thing, and he's he's facilitating men groups to help them understand that, hey, you can learn social skills, you can learn resume skills, you can learn these skills to get out and go be productive. And I really want to tie into something about mental health.
Please do. Please do.
You know,
I could talk this all afternoon.
When you untangle your mental and your emotional confusion, and I'm personally speaking as a trauma victim that inflicted it on society and on myself because of choices. It's all choices. It all starts in the mind.
Absolutely.
And when I untangled my mental and my emotional confusion, what I found was a deep void of emptiness.
Yeah.
The man I was looking into the mirror, the anger that I was mirroring to society or in prison or to people was this little broken boy that grew up without a father.
Right.
Or a young lady that might have grew up without a mother. It happens, extremes happen to us all.
Absolutely.
And I was able to realize that I no longer got to be a victim. I can be a victor.
Amen. Yeah.
I no longer can be a voice for the confusion. I can be a voice of resolve.
That's incredible.
A voice of empowerment. So I'm a voice for the voiceless, an opportunity broker with a miracle mentality.
It's beautiful.
I personally am a walking, talking vessel that totally believes that you can take your story and you can inspire another person to rise above and beyond. Because all it takes is a connection.
Yes, absolutely.
And mental health is, you know, I'm also a CPRS now here in Nashville, Tennessee, a certified peer recovery specialist. I work in suicide prevention and mental health.
Wow.
And I help people understand, you know, in addiction, you used to be a cucumber, then you went to a pickle.
Right.
You can never go back to a cucumber.
Right.
Your brain is scrambled.
Right.
But you can heal.
Absolutely.
But it's going to take training. You're
Right.
going to have to train yourself.
Right.
And from what I noticed and noticing, people will not seek help because that voice inside them, their mind says, you're crazy.
Yeah, that's
Something's
the wiring, the
the
trauma
wiring.
stored in your amygdala in the back of your brain.
Yes.
And it fires up. It's a survival skill. You know, it's put there for fight or flight to keep you safe. And people don't understand that when you deal with that, trauma, it just opens your world and unlocks all the potentials that you never had. So you got out of prison. How did you get on this path?
Well, I never take no for an answer. Believe it or not.
Love that, sir.
Never take no for an answer. I went into corporate America. I gained some leadership skills while I was inside. Gained some social skills. Gained a variety of understanding about life, about people. And I just wanted to be in leadership. I wanted to go into management and just help people. Be a person that really inspires and helps people, right? So when I went into corporate America, I would put my resume in. The number one thing I learned is to be transparent with all people. No matter,
Absolutely.
No matter how they may.
Because it's going to come out later.
Yes. No matter how they may hear your story.
Right.
No matter how it comes out, just put all your cards on the table.
Absolutely.
So I talked to the people that was giving me the employment opportunity. And I said, hey, listen, I know you like me. I know you said this, you got a position for me. There's a red flag. Deb, I promise, 40 to 50 people said this. I would get the phone call and they say, hey, Mike, hey, man, your face don't match your crime. So that could be considered stereotypical, right? And I said, well, I told you that in the beginning, you know.
Right.
So I got no after no after no
Right.
after no. I ended up landing a gig at a marketing agency called Benchcraft that's located in Oregon. They got people here in Tennessee.
Wow.
The guy he met me. I worked as a handyman, you know, digging holes and doing everything. And he says, man, I believe you would be good in communications. I want you to get a F-350, he's got an F-350 dually truck. Gave me a 20-foot trailer with a 2-man crew. I traveled the United States of America, been to 48 states.
Wow.
Putting up ball washers, tee markers, benches,
Wow.
and closing the opportunities because they were shotgun marketing. And I love this job. I was making $36 an hour.
That's right. That's amazing, right?
From 50 cents an hour
Right.
to $36 an hour.
Right.
See, it's like
right.
I'm
the
rich.
50 cents you were forced to do to
Yeah.
the 36 that you're turning into
I'm rich.
production and growth. Right, exactly.
I was really, I was like,
Right,
man,
that's
I'm making
amazing.
money. And here's the fascinating thing. I was living off per diem. So I was getting like $800 for every trip I lived.
Right.
I put my money in the bank. I just saved it.
That's amazing,
I had a
right.
like a 200 credit score. My score now like a 780.
That's incredible. That's an
The
American story.
job was doing great.
That's great.
And I went back to work, coming back from Fort Lauderdale, and I went to my mother-in-law's house. She's a widow, and she was hacking. She was coughing, and this is during COVID. And I said, hey, Lynn, quit coughing on me. And I promise you, this is where it changed. She looked at me with her piercing eyes. She says, you don't believe in it? And I said this, Deb, I don't believe in it. Well, I tell you how God wakes you up. The next morning, I woke up in a full-blown seizure. I was freezing.
Oh.
I had COVID. My wife's a nurse. She says, you got COVID. So I lost my positioning. I didn't lose my job.
Okay.
And when I went back in, they wanted to put me in the warehouse for $16 an hour. I've done built up a reputation. I don't like a lifestyle. I can't.
Right, absolutely. And you found your worth when
yes.
you had you were constantly working on growing and evolving, and
yes.
that's a demotion.
A demotion.
Especially for people who do the work, people that put the work in to really, this is my life, I'm in charge, and that's what you did, which is amazing. So, all right, so we went to put you back in the warehouse for 16 bucks.
And I always show up.
Yes.
I'm a guy that shows up. If I'm sick, there's definitely something going on. I'm going to show up. I'm that guy. I'm going to be 20 minutes.
I have to almost be dead to
hour, 2 hours early. Even here, I get here 2 hours early because I just love this opportunity. Okay. I wouldn't want to show up. So I ended up going to this dealership to refinance my car.
Okay.
And I looked into the tower and I said, I know that guy. I ran into the tower and said, hey, man, how'd you get a job here? He's like, Mike, what's going on? I thought you had a life sentence. And I said, no, man, I'm out, dude. This is me in the flesh. I'm here.
Right.
I said, how do I get a job?
Pinch me. This is real.
I'm in the tower of a dealership. I don't even know what a tower is.
Right.
And this dude looks over with his glasses. He says, sir, I'm going to have to ask you to get out. I said, who are you? He says, I'm the GSM. I said, wow, what does that mean? And I was really confused. I didn't know what a GSM, I don't know what that was. I mean,
right.
I didn't. And he was arrogant. And he says, dude, you need to get out. And he's a general sales manager. I said, can I give 30 seconds with you? I mean, are you off, boss, whatever?
Right.
He'd come out, and I explained to him. He says, well, you kind of insulted me, I said, dude, I don't even know what that is. And I was being serious.
Right.
And he says, well, I don't think you'll work out at the dealership, man. I said, just give me an opportunity, bro. I said, just one opportunity. That's all I need. He gave me an opportunity.
Woohoo! I love this. That's
he said,
great.
I'm going to give you 90 days. In 90 days, I become #1 car sales professional at Music City Autoplex in Nashville, Tennessee.
Got
the trophy to prove it.
That's right.
I had a falling
out. Not
out.
a participation trophy.
Not
a real trophy.
A real trophy.
Love that.
Right? And I had a falling out with my sales manager, and it really wasn't a falling out. He just said something that really struck my nerve, and I said, okay, I'm going to get better. I'm going to learn how to do this. So I started Googling these things at your fingertips. I started Googling how to sell cars. Who come up? Andy Elliott, right?
That's his stick, right?
So I found Andy Elliott.
Is he from the Nashville area? I don't even know.
Andy Elliott's in Arizona.
In Arizona,
and,
okay. That's the good tan all year round.
The good tan all around. So I reached out. Somebody reached out to me. Andy jumps on a call with me. We talk. I end up investing some money, flying down. My wife and I, we flew down there. And in the moment, I was like, dude, he just changed my life.
Wow.
And the reason being is he gave me some structure to how to sell. So I went back to my dealership, and again and again and again, I was #1.
Wow.
Well, when you get too smart for your own good, they want to get rid of you. So
absolutely.
I ended up
now you're
out
above the general sales manager.
I was telling Andy all the things that was going on. I reached out to Andy, and he says, hey, man, I got a good idea. Fly you and your wife down here. Y'all move down here. I'll give you an opportunity.
Wow.
So I worked with Andy.
That's incredible.
Worked with Andy.
He's very famous.
Worked with all the entrepreneurs that come along, Brad Lee, Wes Watson, Coach Burke, all these fascinating people. Exposure was the key. Well, here's the key. The key to the many is one. This is what Coach Burke says.
Through the one, right.
So late October last year, I saw Coach Burke speak. And you're going to laugh at this. When he got off stage, he was talking about going from where you are to where you want to be.
Right.
I was like, A to B, packaging, purpose. I was like, oh, I'm really connecting with this guy. So I reached out to Coach in a text, sent him all my paperwork about my struggles of who I am, where I came from, and he says, you belong in the transformational business. Well, hold on, let's stop for a minute. Time out.
Let's go back. I want to hear more.
Let's go back. When he got off stage, I ran up to him. I stuck my hand out to his chest. I said, I'm Mike White from Nashville, Tennessee. Coach Burke looks up to me. He's like, okay. I was just excited.
Right.
He was eager to meet me, but my intensity, I was bursting with excitement.
Right.
I was like, I'm Mike White from Coach.
That's amazing energy, though, right?
So that's when I went back and he told me that, I belonged in the transformational business. And coming back to Nashville, I had caught a virus in the Arizona desert where it attacked my vocal cords and
oh, no.
it was like valley fever or something.
Okay,
It's crazy,
wow.
but it's bizarre. 9 different ENTs and finally
Oh,
healed. So I reached out to Coach
sense.
Burt while I was here in Nashville, and my wife, again, my superhero, she says, you got to reach out to Coach. So I reached out to Coach and I said, hey, if is there any way for me to join your team and expand, I would love the opportunity. And the next thing you know, me and him were talking. I talked to his team. He brought me in, and here we are. And not only that.
Let's get a bravo for that story. That's
right.
Beautiful. I love that.
And this is the fascinating.
Because you're not afraid to hear no.
I'm not.
Or to be judged. That's what holds people back.
I'm fearless.
Right. If everybody had that attitude, everyone that's listening to this podcast, please be like this man. We're so afraid of being judged that they're going to say no and that we're going to look stupid, that we never step out of our comfort zone. You're one uncomfortable action away from living the dream of
Powerful.
Anything you want. If you can just step on out of your own way. But that's amazing. So how long have you been with Coach Burt?
Now about 8 weeks.
Okay.
We had lunch 2 weeks ago.
Okay.
And I love the opportunity he's given me. I didn't even know what this concept was. He says, you're going to be my body man.
Cool. I don't even know what that means. What's that mean? Break that down for me.
It's an ultimate assistant. So when his left foot moves, I got to know how his right foot moves. I've got to, when he needs something done, he needs it done efficiently on time. I'm the guy he calls.
That is incredible.
And it's all about showing up.
Absolutely.
Execution.
Well, his work ethic is impeccable.
And you know what he says?
He actually brought you up yesterday in training.
Oh, really?
Yes. He
wow.
said that you're here at 6:30 in the morning, you're here till 10:30 at night, you're always smiling, you're always happy, you give 100% effort. And, he's saying that, as professionals, we show up, right? Do every day we want to show up? Not always, but you're a professional. You play pro, right?
Absolutely.
So he spoke about that yesterday in his course.
Powerful.
It's powerful. That's motivating, right?
It's not only motivating, it's driving.
It's driving.
For me, it's driving me. The momentum's there for me.
Right.
Because every day I wake up, and this is a fun fact about me, we all have an exit strategy in life. Right?
Absolutely.
We don't know when we're going or how we're going. We just know that we're going.
Right.
So every day that I wake up, I'm tuned into a different frequency than a lot of people. Not that I'm different. It's just my experiences has caused me to see the world differently.
Right.
So when I tune in, I ground myself in a force field. And this is going to be an interesting concept for everybody. I ground myself in gratitude. There's a circle, right?
If you start with gratitude as the base, you're going to be okay.
That's it.
If you wake up in the morning, you're like, this day is going to suck, it's raining. But if you wake up and you're like, I'm so grateful for this house, I'm so grateful for the person laying next to me, I'm so grateful that I have another opportunity, what are the odds you're going to have a bad day?
That's right.
It's just amazing. It is that quick of a mindset.
It's mindset. And this is what I've learned. In 2 seconds, you can shift your state.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
They think it's a secret sauce. They think
No.
it's some secret success. They think it's some hocus pocus. It's until you can go into your mind and realize it's not that bad.
It's not that bad.
And create paradigm shifts.
This from a man who saw some bad stuff.
Absolutely.
So that's amazing. I mean, that's incredible. It is so true. I work with clients so I can't. I'm like, you can, you just don't want to. There's a difference. It'd be anything in life, as you've worked your way up this ladder and, with the past, anything worth having is worth working for, right? We're all just little fish until we put ourselves out there. So that is such an incredible story.
Absolutely.
So who else are you motivating besides all of us? Because the day I met you, I was like, oh my God, Fred. Well, I thought you were a speaker, by the way.
Oh, really?
Because you're in a suit and introduced. You're like, what do you do? And you held the space and you made eye contact. So I'm like, this man has some incredible people skills.
Thank you.
So I thought you were there to present. I didn't know you were part of Coach Burt's team.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So as for me, everything is an open space of creativity. A lot of people think that, much like yourself, when I meet people, they think I'm some type of business guru, some type of businessman, or come from a prominent college. But when you get to hear my story, I'm breaking it down. Some people, even Deb says, dude, quit playing, man, quit playing.
I bet.
Because it's like what the lifestyle that I've lived and been through and where I'm going, it's like something out of a book or on TV.
Right.
And I'm the real flesh.
Right.
So to answer your question, what I do, I just provide value to everybody I meet.
That's incredible.
Each and every day, I make it my intentions to meet 6 to 7 people. Wow. And it goes back to the circle of gratitude.
Right, absolutely.
Because in that gratitude, there's actions you got to take to manifest that day and play it forward.
Right.
So 6 to 7 people, I've done met 4 already. I'll smile, I'll give an encouraging word,
absolutely,
a kind gesture, and this is how I do every day since I've been home. Even when I was operating inside the facilities, this is what propelled me forward to build relationships with wardens,
right,
with the governor,
right,
with lobbyists.
And you know, your energy is infectious. I'm high energy, right? And people, when I'm like, oh, you look lovely today, I hope you have a great day, it's like, but if more of us took the time to stop thinking, get out of your own way, and one word can change somebody's whole existence.
That's right, absolutely.
Don't we owe that to each other as human beings to pick each other up? I think we do. I think, you know, if I say one thing to somebody on the street and they feel better about themselves and that motivates them to do better, if everybody could do that to one person every single day, imagine how much quicker people would get to the goals.
That's right.
To know that you somebody else believes in you, because that's when you're struggling with confidence and working yourself, that's the number one thing, is you're afraid. Everything's so fear-based. And what a beautiful way, Mike, for you to say that you switched it from that to a gratitude. You start with gratitude.
Start with gratitude.
Right, because we all have something to be grateful for. And, you know, I teach my clients to don't compare your stuff to anybody else's. Because you don't know what's in anybody else's house but yours.
That's right.
You know, you don't know what it's like to be anybody else. And if you stay in your own lane and be grateful for your own stuff, the rewards start to come. You know? But I love that concept, like talk to people and make them feel good about themselves.
Absolutely.
And motivate them. And 6 to 7 people a day. I might have to challenge you. I might jump on your bandwagon.
Yeah.
I might have to text you every day. I'll be like, I'm at 4. You'll be like, I'm at 6. I'm like, all right, Deb, get to the mall, right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You
but
know,
it is amazing when you have energy like yours.
Thank
right?
you.
I didn't know you. I'm just going in for one of my classes. You made me feel like I was special. Like, wow, that's great. You work with, wow, that's so wonderful. You really made me feel like, I guess what I'm doing is pretty cool. You know, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
I mean, that's just an amazing gift to give people.
Yes.
So what's going on? We're in the Greatness Factory. I want to tell you that this is, you know, we are the first podcast.
Wow.
To be done in this cool building.
And I'm the first guest on that podcast ever.
Yeah, yes.
Yeah.
This is a bravo day for
Yes.
you. I'm so proud of you too. But the story was amazing. And thank you for sharing it, because I think we start to label people, right? And we start to judge. Judgment is so destructive. It's such a if you can just go into a situation seeing the beauty of a human being and we're so quick to just start judging people. I mean, I love a Cinderella story.
Absolutely.
I love a comeback story. I mean, that is what's so amazing about a country like this too, right? You can go from a maximum security correctional facility to changing people's lives. That's unbelievable.
Absolutely.
Would you ever write a book?
I've already wrote a book.
You have already written a book.
I wrote the 30 Commandments of Prison, and
Okay.
it was facilitated inside of prison, and I overlooked my accomplishments because I'm always downplaying, and this is one of the things I've got to quit doing. My wife told me, she brought this book out. It's called The 30 Commandments, and I said, well, yeah, but it's something I did in prison. I mean, I didn't write that. I mean, I wrote it, but I didn't print it. How do they print it? She's like, yeah, but you wrote it.
But you wrote it.
You are the author of that. Do you see
Right.
your name right there, Thomas
Right.
Michael White?
Right.
And I've got it on my Instagram. And my second book, it ties into what I was telling you earlier. I learned this from Coach Burt. It's a concept that I took from Coach Burt. I'm an opportunity broker with a miracle mentality.
That's amazing.
When you're paralyzed with fear,
Yes.
and you're feeling an unpleasant feeling,
Yes.
there's an activation sense
Taking action.
where I can speak into your life.
Right.
I can't make you do the work,
Right.
but I can show you what I've done to get from where I was at to where I am to where I'm going.
Absolutely.
And where I'm going, it's going to be a lot bigger stages.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
manifesting this
incredible.
mission.
No
and you
doubt.
know, speaking, when you said speaking, that's one of my on my to-do list, on my manifestation boards.
Absolutely.
It's something I want to do. So
if you can give a little nugget of your energy to people, you're the most powerful man in the world.
absolutely.
You know, because that is what we're lacking. You know, we wake up with this attitude. I'm going to share this to you. I don't think I've ever shared this name, but I wake up in the morning and I like literally put like a pretend bubble around me. I'm like, I'm not taking anybody else's energy on. That I know how I resonate. You know
That's
what I
right.
mean? And I don't want that in, you know, because I want to live every day like it's the last day of my life.
Every day.
Every day, yes. Because life is a blessing.
Life is a blessing. It's glorious.
Yes.
And when we get down to the bottom of it, like I was saying earlier, we're going to exit this life one day. What are you doing today?
What are
that's
you
moving
doing
forward?
today?
What are you doing today to moving that needle
Right.
towards your enthusiasm?
Right.
You know, and life is such a beautiful journey
Unbelievable.
when you're like, when you can look out this window and you ain't got to look through your rear view. You
I know this is a right,
this
and
is-
I'm like, you
It's a
know,
phenomenal place.
this is a phenomenal.
This is where
place.
greatness is born.
This is where in a phenomenal city with incredible people. I mean, to work with people like you and Coach Burt, you know, that energy feeling is you're just going to pole vault you into
Absolutely.
things. So what are you guys doing? What's next for this Greatness Factory?
What's next for the Greatness Factory is emerging partnerships, bringing
Awesome.
people in, exposing them to Coach Burt, you know, helping people understand that there's no limits, scaling your businesses, going from A to B, moving
Right.
from where you are to where you want to go,
Right.
and helping people understand just to plug in.
Yeah, absolutely.
Take action. You know, to sit in this room and to come together, put some ideas on the blueprint,
Right.
and then create it, and then build it, and then make it happen.
Unbelievable, right?
You know, Coach likes to say something. He says, like, you've got to take action. You've got to
Action.
have momentum.
I tell my clients who tell me they're stuck, I'm like, when you are stuck, take an action. I can't take an action. You have to take an action. Or else you might as well send your magazines to that stuck place because you're not getting out of that.
That's right.
Take any action, take an action. Hopefully the action is going to lead you to greatness. If it doesn't, it's a learning lesson.
You know, when I was going through my mental health issues, because I suffered with mental health for a very long time,
Right,
and I'm in
absolutely.
long-term recovery.
Right.
The help that was provided for me was just what you said. I used to make these excuses. I can't.
Mm-hmm.
I can't. And my therapist, she would engineer these ideas, and I would say, hey, can I ask you a question? Where's your concepts come from? And this is when I really was digging deep into my internal struggles. I say, I like your ingenuity, but until you can feel what I feel,
Right.
you won't never understand. And
Right.
this is her key words. She says, until you can understand what I'm saying, you will never get across the threshold because you're stuck in your
Yes.
mind.
Yes.
And I was like,
You're creating your own limitations.
yes. So taking action is what led me to this moment.
Absolutely.
Every day I take action.
It is just the most valuable, you know, when I say that, people are like, I'm like, if you're stuck, you got to move.
Gotta move.
You got to move, or else you're growing roots there. So, and hopefully it'll work out. Sometimes it won't, but that's okay because you did something.
Absolutely.
You know, we applaud those, you know, those everyday heroes, though. And people, it is such an incredible concept. Instead of bringing it inward, put it outside. You know, start talking to people. Start, you know, what do I do? Find somebody. You know, not the not how who concept.
Yeah.
You know, and because somebody has been in your position in this lifetime, they have. You know, so when you start to reach out to other people and tell them your story. So, I mean, that's an incredible, I am crazy proud of you.
Well, I'm proud of you.
Thank you
Yes.
so much. Thank you so much. And you know what? It was this is my life. I'm gonna live it. You know, I'm gonna help people. I'm gonna take leaps. I'm gonna do all that stuff. You know.
You know, when you say take leaps, I want to share this concept with everybody. You know, by the age of 3, we was born into this world. You was given a name. You was given an identity.
Sure.
You was walking, talking, and eating, right? By the age of 3, just think how powerful this is.
It's crazy powerful, right?
You took quantum leaps.
Yes.
Them quantum leaps
Yes.
was only for 3 years.
I know.
When
Can
we
you
hit
imagine
5,
what you do by your 30?
When we hit 5 years old, we knew how to say mama, daddy. We was learning how to be creative and curious.
Right.
By the age of 10, we have gained an identity.
Right.
By the age of 15, we have grew into puberty. We were starting to slow down because we was fascinated with male and female, female and male, right?
Right.
And then by the age of 20, we have lost ourselves in an identity, in confusion, in our work. We've lost who we were in the process of tapping back into that creativity and that curiosity.
Right.
And then when you look around the world, and this is so fascinating to me, and this is what I was talking about, the elevator pitch and this making connections. You look around the world and people really, really have lost their way in life.
Oh, so many.
And it's fascinating to me because where I'm at, I'm like, my wife tells me, she says, you're 20 years ahead of people. Because I get to thinking about other things like, well, I ain't got this done, I ain't got this. She's like, yeah, but mentally and emotionally, you've tapped into a different form of intelligence because of your experiences.
Right.
When you start to understand those quantum leaps.
Yes.
And I'm studying quantum leaps right now because
Yeah.
every day, when Coach Burt mentioned that yesterday, I do things intentionally.
Right.
I stay late. I do things intentionally because there's quantum leaps. I've got to take every ounce of energy today
Absolutely.
and play it forward for momentum to go into tomorrow.
Absolutely.
So I can take a quantum leap to create another opportunity like this what you did.
Right.
Or,
the action leads to the momentum leads to the goal.
that's it. It's powerful.
It is powerful. And you know what? It really is just that simple. Because
It
people
is.
are like, I need to know how to do it. I'm like, I'm going to sum this up. It's really easy. It's not,
it's really
you
easy.
know? And I think, you know, one, the fear of being judged, you know, and people, you know, when I start this company, they're like, you're going to get on a podcast and do social media? I'm like, I have a gift to give to people. I suffered with a bad childhood and some unresolved trauma. And I'm like, my point was nobody that comes in contact with me is ever going to feel as low as I did.
Wow.
Never. No matter what it takes. I'm not going to let anybody that comes into my life ever feel that bad. That's a driving force for me every single day.
That's powerful.
Yeah, it is. So, you know, same. Took a mess, turned it into a mission. Because if we just give the people the opportunity to grow, they can do it.
And you know what's unique? You and I are not, we're the same.
Same people.
Same people. Just different story. And if the whole world would just say and stop judging themselves.
Yes.
And just be open like you and I do and having an open dialogue.
Yes.
They will realize that, hey, I'm not so different. I'm going to take my creativity. I'm going to do something extraordinary. No matter the judgments, you know, people coming against you about the podcast. And I'm going to do something fascinating.
Right.
Because we're all the same.
Exactly.
We're all the same.
We are all the same. Corely, we just want to be loved and we want to give love. That's corely what human beings want, you know. Another statistic too, it's another Harvard study. The younger generation, under 25 now, whatever they call them, I don't know. My daughter's now 26, so I guess she's out of it. Their number one, my generation, was security. Money in the bank, 401ks, roof over your head, you know, your children. Their number one fear, 98%, is what other people think of them.
Doxophobia.
Crazy. Every move you make is because you don't want people to think a certain way. The beauty of humans is that we're unique.
That's right.
You know, those are your gifts and your talents. And it's scary to me that that's what we're putting out into the world. You know, we're not taking people for people. We're prejudging them for, you know. Open your mind, humans. Just open your mind.
That's right.
Be opened, and you never know who you'll meet or what you're going to learn from them.
Every day is a learning process.
Truth.
And I love how you just said, open your mind, people.
Open your minds.
If we look around at society today, after we went through so many transitions, you know, from the 80s to the 90s to the early 2000s to the era we're in now, COVID especially, we're so closed off. We're feeling so many unpleasant feelings that it's difficult to connect. Right. It's difficult to have a conversation.
And that's one more thing living in your head, rent free. You know, that you're like thinking, you know, I tell people, you know, like, I'm worried about this. I'm like, let me tell you what worrying does. You're serving a life sentence for a crime you didn't commit. Chances are there's no way you can do the outcome. You've survived 100% of your bad days. If you look at it like that from I did do it, you're right. I am stronger than that. As opposed to either a victim or I can, or it's because of my husband or the account, whatever. Life is going to happen every single day. It's going to happen. So pivot. That's what I tell my clients.
Pivot.
Just pivot. That doesn't work out, that's okay.
That's right.
We'll figure out the next way to work it out. It's okay. And sometimes terrible things happen to really incredible human beings. That doesn't destroy you. Pick up, you dust yourself off, and keep going. And if everybody, this is the power of coaching, right? That you've got this person who is just on your team. You need to be coaching people and businesses, and like Coach Burt said, and spreading that, you know, I didn't let this hold me down. I wake up every day that I'm a winner. I'm going to do big things, you know? And I think that's energy is the most important thing. Everybody that you come in contact can read your energy.
You know, I want to say this. I don't think you find success in winning.
No.
You find success in failures.
Yes.
That's
where your learning is.
You know, so I think, and you know, when I learned that not too long ago, I was like, wow, that's a powerful concept. Mm-hmm. And there's another phrase that somebody had said to me not too long ago. They said, Mike, I've lost my passion.
Yeah, that's a big one.
And I said this, it's not that you've lost your passion, you've lost a road to follow.
Mm-hmm. Declutter at that point. That's what I say. You're consumed with other things that are not fulfilling your life. They're just not. So that's clutter. Don't let that weigh you down. You know, I tell people that all the time. If that's not yours, don't pick it up, because your stuff's falling at the bottom as you're carrying everything else's. So
that's powerful.
Yeah, it's the truth. You know, yes. I'm like, here we are. You know, we've got our own stuff. And then we start taking, you know, the election and stress and labeling, and so what gives? We do. You know?
That's powerful.
It is. It's very, very true. And listen, I lived that way for a very long time. So, you know, it was like I had to be sick and tired of being sick and tired to change my life, you know? And if I can do it, anybody can do it.
So, quick question: When was your pivotal point?
So, my pivotal point was I went through a divorce. I was married, 20 some odd years. I had some unresolved trauma as a childhood, and I didn't want to deal with it, Mike. Mm-hmm. You know, I was like, I'm going to go around it. I'm going to marry out of it. I'm going to drive a nice car. No one's going to know that I'm broken inside, right? No one's going to. From the outside looking in, you'd never know that I was a broken little girl, acting as a functioning wife and mother and business owner. And then as the marriage went on, he went his own direction with his career that was, you know, his career, and we grew apart. Well, my identity, what I was tied to, was being his wife. And through the process, I want to, for our listeners and the people that know me, we are dear friends now. Yeah. We share one child together. I didn't know who I was. All I knew was I was broken. That's all I knew. And I was like, I have two options. I can be somebody's ex-wife, or I can go light the world on fire. There's only two things to do. So I picked my stuff up, and I found the courage to believe in myself. And here I am, wow. Helping other people find their courage. And through working with them, I have healed. It's amazing. It is the greatest gift ever. When I see people living their potential, it's like, you don't even know. I tell people I am so proud of human beings that do the right thing. I tell these guys, I'm so proud of you guys.
Yeah.
I am. I'm so proud of the human beings they are. I'm so proud of the fathers they are. You know, everyday heroes that don't wear capes. I truly believe in them. That is consequently was the platform of this. You know, not about my coaching, and not about being a trauma specialist. It was about the people like you that don't get celebrated. To start celebrating these people who were like, I'm going to make a difference in myself, and I'm going to make a difference in this world.
Absolutely.
I love that. I applaud that. I do. And I encourage everyone to do what you did. Get a little bit of your energy. We're gonna have to get some dust. We're gonna have to turn your energy into like some unicorn dust.
Unicorn dust.
We can sell it on the internet. You know, we'll just sprinkle it over people and be like,
That's
here's
right.
a little Mike energy going.
Become infections.
Become infectious, right?
Mike-isms.
Yes. All right. Where can our listeners find you, follow you, get in contact? Where can they get more, Mike?
official_Mike_White. Instagram.
Okay. And please follow this man, because I'll tell you, every day I feel happier when I see your posts.
Thank you.
And you give credit to people. You know, you don't just put up posts, you include us all, and you know, you're taking everybody on this exciting ride with you.
You know, I think it's collectively that we bring people into our lives, that collectively we all grow.
Absolutely.
If it's all about me, me and mine, that comes from my ego state.
Absolutely.
I try to eliminate that from my processes.
Right.
And empowering people, when people as yourself come through with a wealth of knowledge, and you're able to bring me into something beautiful that you're creating,
right.
means more than words can express.
Oh, thanks.
So it's very empowering
Yeah.
to hear your story, to hear our similarities. But the main thing is that we're no different.
No
Extreme
different.
conditions happens to us all.
It does.
Failures
It does.
happens to us all.
Right.
We
and
walk
trauma
around-
knows no boundaries.
That's right.
It doesn't happen to everybody in a trailer park. It happens to everybody.
And you know
everybody has some form of unresolved trauma.
And what I love so much about my trauma is that I can see.
Mm-hmm.
I can look into someone's eyes, Deb.
Absolutely.
No matter where you're at, what you've been through, I can
Yeah.
see the pain.
Yeah.
Not saying I can read your soul or nothing voodoo-ish,
Yeah.
but I can see things. I can see when people are struggling with addiction.
Yes.
I can see when people are struggling with failures.
Yes.
I can see when people are struggling with adversity. I
Mm-hmm.
can see when people are struggling in their marriages.
Yes.
I
Yeah,
can see
you
these
can.
things. And what God has gifted me with is a unique ability to be able to speak.
That's
And
awesome.
it's like you said, all it takes is one word of encouragement.
One word can
And you wrap
change
'em.
your entire life.
And you remember it for the rest of your life.
And you have no idea the power of just thank you, or you look amazing, and wow, that effort was just incredible, because we're heroes.
Or you
without
can go a little bit deeper.
Yeah.
Let's push. You know, if we was in college and we were studying this on human behavior, I would encourage people to push their thoughts a little further.
Yeah, absolutely.
And what's that mean?
Absolutely.
It means this. I'm walking down the street. I can see a distraught young woman. Instead of walking past her, I stop. I take a second. Ma'am, is there anything I can do? I
What
can
can I
see
do?
that you're struggling with something.
Mm-hmm.
Really make it personal.
Yes.
And that's what I do every day. I make it personal with people.
Yes.
And you know, it's not the same approach with everybody.
Right.
It's not the same engagement. It's not the same
Right.
excitement. It's not the same enthusiasm. I engage people where they're at.
And you hold space for them.
Hold space. Absolutely.
We don't do that.
Absolutely.
I mean, I do, because I'm trained to, but I mean, we're quick. Somebody says something, we're like, oh, how's that affecting me? And blah, 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 blah. We automatically go into how this is affecting me.
Absolutely.
That's their pain. They deserve space. And it's such a beautiful thing to see. It really is. When I see people get out of their own ways, it brings me to tears. I'm like, and this is what I tell people. They're like, I did this and counseling, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, we live in a time now where you don't have to live anywhere you don't want to be. You're unhappy, we can fix it.
That's right.
The only thing we can't fix is death. You know, You don't want to be sadder. Let's work on it. Let me give you the tools to empower yourself. And I wish somebody would have did that for me younger.
Absolutely.
You know, and had that energy that was like, we can do this. Let's dig down deep.
When you was talking about space, there's another piece I want to tie to that. Boundaries.
Yes.
You know, when you're giving a person space, when you acknowledge it, you engage, you connect, you initiate.
Yes.
Let them speak.
Yes.
And this is what I've had to learn through my experience with my personal trauma and interacting with people. There's boundaries. Mm-hmm. If a person says, I don't want to talk. Okay, they don't want to talk.
Absolutely.
Don't press that.
Absolutely. We don't want to make people any worse.
I got the best marriage.
Right.
I got a very unique marriage.
I love that.
When my wife,
you light up when you talk about your wife. Like
Erica,
it's like,
her name's
I love
Erica.
this.
So when my wife says something, and I had to learn this about her. She had to learn this about me getting out because I was still had some paranoid ways.
Sure.
Some trauma. And there was I was setting booby traps because I'd see if she was trying to meddle, and but right. I had to learn. And it's fascinating. We can laugh about it now, but when I started to understand that there's things that she does and things that I do that we can mutually understand, it's like a private language.
Yeah.
But it's just like the private language of everybody. When you start to engage with people, you understand that, hey, we're all different. Yes. We're all unique. We all want connection. We all want love.
Yes. I don't even know if you were in here earlier. We were talking about, I have been invited to 2 weddings of strangers I met on planes.
I love that.
They have said to me, you're amazing. Thank you for your kind words. Thank you for listening. I went to 2 weddings. So I get to the weddings, and I don't know anybody. And the bride, they're like, and now that they tell it, this kind of energy spreads, right? It's not a good. This is better than the pandemic, right? And so I go, I went to the bar to get a drink, and they're like, this is Deb. They're like, oh my God, you're Deb from the plane? That's how it starts. Hold space for people. Everybody just wants to feel heard.
That's right.
They just do. Don't make it about you. It's not about you.
No.
I literally tell people that. That's not about you. Get over it. Hold space. We all just want to feel like somebody cares about us.
That's right.
That's Corley. We all come out the same way.
The same way and leave the same way. And
Amen.
Everything's the same.
And hopefully they run into you with little unicorn dust.
Sprinkles.
Right, little sprinkles. We're going to answer that. We're going to tell Kirchberg.
Yeah.
We need some unicorn sprinkles over here.
Yeah,
He'll be like, Deb Cherrella, you're not getting any unicorn sprinkles.
Tell Coach that. Say, hey, we need Mike White with a unicorn dust. Mm-hmm. He's like, what?
Let's get right. Well, you're his right-hand man. Who do we go to through then? Brittany? How do we get our unicorn dust? We'll get Brittany.
Yes.
Yeah. Come on. Well, he'll get it for us, I'm pretty sure. Here's my last question to you. Will you come back and hang out with us again?
Absolutely.
And tell us more of this fantastic story.
Deb, I'm just warming up on this journey, and
we want to go.
And
we would be on the ride.
I think we're all warming up.
Yeah.
And it's just collectively coming together and continue to be that community of strength for each other.
I love that.
Because we draw from each other.
Absolutely.
We feed each other.
Absolutely. And we need to pick each other up.
That's right. There's 2 types of people in the world. You've got people that's going to take you up, people that's going to bring you down. Mm-hmm. You got people that's going to clip your wings, and people that's going to give you wings. Mm-hmm. And I tell people all the time, if you get around people that's dream killers, run from those people.
Right, absolutely.
If they're not encouraging you.
Right. Oh, these are my favorite kind when they talk you out of your dreams. So you're not going to be able to do that. Oh, why would you do that much work? When I went, back, they're like, Deb, you have plenty of money. I'm like, the money has nothing to do with this. I need to heal. I have talent to help these people heal. This is a mission.
Absolutely.
This is a mission. It has nothing to do with money. But we want to be on your journey.
And I want to be on your journey.
So we want to have you back. And truly, Mike, from the bottom of my heart, it's an honor to have you. It's truly an honor. And ta-da, in the greatest factory for the very first.
This is where it happens at.
This is where miracles happen,
yes,
right? So we're going to have you back really soon. And thank you for being part of Happy Hour.
And Deb, I want to thank you for inviting me. And
it's an honor, Mike.
It's been a wealth of information, a wealth of knowledge, and life. This is a life-changing moment for me. this is something I can add that's been done. You know,
Yeah.
stamped, sealed, and delivered.
Check.
Yeah.
Happy hour with Deb. Check.
Happy hour, Deb. Check. Bing, bing.
That's right. Been there, spent an afternoon, happy hour with Deb. Well, we're honored to have you, and we're on that journey with you. We're gonna have you back.
Thank you.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike, for coming. We appreciate you.